Hi, my name's James Demeter, founder, president, designer of Demeter Amplification. Today we're going to demonstrate our silent speaker chamber. We've been making this product for over 35 years. Its genesis was a NAMM show. In 1986, NAMM decided they wanted to curtail the level of noise. Now that's something we later discovered they've never been able to do, but back then we took them seriously. So we decided we'd make a box inside a box that would, with a microphone in it, so we could run the microphone through a headphone amp and microphone preamp, and you would be able to hear what the guitar amp sounded like without disturbing your neighbors. I originally came up with the concept in the 1970s when I was rehearsing with my band, The Heaters, as we were doing our first album, because I need to practice my parts, and the neighbors didn't appreciate a 412 Marshall blasting at 11 o'clock at night. So with spare construction parts that I had around when we were building our studio, I constructed a coffin for the cabinet. Years later, I just stored that away, and when the NAMM show came up with the regulations, I decided that the smart thing to do would be to put basically a speaker box inside a box. And so I came up with this design. It uses 1 or 2 microphones, depending on which model you buy. If you buy the one with 2 microphones, it has a phase switch, so you can actually knock one microphone out of phase, which gets you all sort of interesting effects. It actually kind of removes the box sound, and depending where placement is, you can get all sorts of interesting effects. The silent speaker chamber has been used by all sorts of groups over the years. Right now, it's still being used by ZZ Top. They've been using it for about a decade. And basically the sound you hear when you see them is not the wall of Marshalls behind him. It is actually one of these under the stage. They have the microphone placed in the perfect spot. The amp is set at the perfect point, so the sound man gets the same sound every night. It's also useful in churches. A lot of churches have bought this because you can have that burning electric guitar and still hear someone speak, which is nice. They've also been sold for Broadway shows. The Broadway show Motown and dozens of others have used these to control the electric guitar again. We've also sold them to Cirque du Soleil and assorted rock bands over the years. And now let me show you what's inside the box, and you can see how it works. The latch is tight because it has to be. Otherwise, it would rattle, and that would be not good. This is the 2 microphone model, and this model we have 2 identical SM57s. You can use any mic you want to. Indeed, we have a clip that's variable in how wide you want it to be, wider or less wide. And basically it's designed so that you can lock the microphone in place. It's important that you do that because you don't want things moving around. Also, we're using these mic ease holders that stay very rigid and do require a little effort to bend. I recommend 2 hands when you do that. It'll stay together better and it might otherwise break off. We don't supply speakers unless you request a speaker. We offer, if you need one, we can get you a Celestion speaker or we can get you the Jensen speaker. Either of those brands, we can get almost every model they have. Let us know what you want. We can tell you what we recommend too. The 2 microphones are set up right now aimed at the same spot. That'd probably be something you wouldn't do. Usually you would want to set it up so this one might be aimed more towards the middle and this one more towards the edge if you were going to keep it in phase. If you were going to run it out of phase, then you would aim this thing anywhere from this corner here to maybe you might want to take it up right in that area there. The idea is you're going to have to experiment because each microphone and each speaker is going to be a little different. But in the out of phase mode, what happens is you basically cancel out the noise around the microphone. And this one, being closest, would pick up the sound of that area much louder than the other microphone picking up the sound around it. So when you basically start to run the out of phase fader in, it starts to pull out the bottom end, which also pulls out the box sound itself. So if you do a nice balancing act, you can get it sound just like a regular guitar amp cabinet with one microphone aimed at the mic at it, and maybe even better. Now we're going to demonstrate what the unit sounds like with the door open and with the door closed. The difference is pretty huge, so we'll probably have to adjust the decibel meter to a different sensitivity. So John, play. Well, now that you've seen the silent speaker, we thought maybe you'd like to listen to one. So the way we have it set up is we're going to do a clean guitar, and we have the close microphone and then the back of the cabinet microphone. We'll play the close microphone first, then we'll play the distant microphone second, and then we'll play them both together, trying to use the phase to pull out just a little bit of that boxy sound. So without further ado, away we go. The clean channel. The distance mic.